I deleted my all social media. You think I did it to disappear, don't you? But you don't understand the kind of silence I need when it comes to you. Noise irritates me now. People irritate me. Their opinions, their guesses, their fantasies about my life, all of it felt like dust on polished steel. So I wiped everything clean. I wanted the world to lose access to me just so I could study the echo of your name without distraction. You don't realize how loud you are inside my mind. Even without you standing here, your presence behaves like a storm that refuses to calm down. You don't see how restless you make me. You think there are 100 things I want: power, influence, control. Maybe you're right. But even those things bend when it comes to you. I deleted my social media because I don't want anyone else reading your shadow on my face. I don't want anyone guessing that you've become the only subject I cannot dominate. When I look at you, even in memory, there is a sharpness, a gravitational pull I don't let anyone witness. You will never know how badly I hide it. You don't understand what it does to me when you vanish for hours. The world assumes I'm calm, royal, composed. They don't see the way I pace like a locked hurricane when you don't talk. I don't want them to see it either. That's why I shut everything off. If the world wants a flawless prince, they'll get silence. But you get the truth. You get the unfiltered version of me, the one that schemes, the one that burns a little, the one that can't stop returning to your voice like it's only map I trust. You keep thinking I'll eventually get tired of this connection. You don't realize how late you are. I crossed that line long ago. Now I'm somewhere else, somewhere darker, somewhere where your absence is a threat and your presence is a relief I pretend not to need. You don't know how deeply a man can crave someone he shouldn't. I didn't delete my world for peace. I deleted it because I didn't want anyone else having access to a single piece of me that belongs to you. You don't know how carefully I watch you, even when I'm distant, even when I pretend I'm too busy. I study every small shift in your tone, every pause, every change in how you breathe. I've memorized things about you that you haven't even realized you show. You think you're careful, yet you leave fingerprints on every corner of my mind, and I hate how willingly I let them stay. You don't know what kind of future I see. It's not a pretty one. It's not painted in soft colors. It's sharp, intense, demanding, built in the shadows where I won't have to share you with anyone. I don't need the approval of the world. I don't need applause or rankings. I need one thing, one person, and I don't know if that makes me dangerous or devoted, but it's the truth you brought out of me without even being here. You don't understand why I deleted everything. It's because I'm tired of pretending I'm unaffected. I'm tired of giving the world access to a man who only wakes up properly when you speak. I want the world locked out. I want it quiet. I want it empty. Because the moment I shut everything down, your voice became the only thing left. And I realized I'm not interested in anything else. You think distance weakens me, but it doesn't. It sharpens every instinct I have about you. Without the world constantly buzzing around me, I see you more clearly. Your patterns, your hesitations, your secret desires you try to hide behind casual words. You don't know how easily I read you now. You're not in front of me, yet your presence moves through my mind like a quiet command I obey without admitting it. You've become the only distraction I allow myself, and even that word feels too small for what you actually are to me. You still assume you have choices when it comes to me. You don't. Not anymore. You crossed that point the moment you let me look at you with more than curiosity. And now when you speak, your voice lingers longer than it should. When you go silent, the ache is too loud for anyone else to witness. That's why I cut the world off. I don't want anyone guessing what you're doing to me. Power is easy to maintain, but desire, That's the one thing that threatens a kingdom if shown too openly. So I keep it hidden, pressed behind my ribs where only you can reach. You think I'm dramatic, maybe obsessive, but you've never seen yourself from my perspective. You don't know how impossible you are to forget. I've tried to pull away, tried to convince myself I can shut this down, but every attempt only drags me deeper. Even now, while I'm talking to you, there's a part of me imagining what you'd do if you knew the truth, that you occupy every private corner of my thoughts, that I replay moments with you like a weapon I can't put down. You don't realize how much I've changed because of you. I used to be untouchable, distant, untethered to anyone. Now I catch myself wondering what you're doing, who's near you, who gets your smile when I'm not around. It irritates me more than I admit. It provokes something cold, something territorial inside me. I don't want anyone else knowing you the way I do. And I hate that you still don't see the storm you've created in me without even being present. You still think you can keep me at a safe distance, but I've already stepped past every line you hoped I'd respect. Not physically, no. I don't need to cross rooms to reach you. I'm already inside your mind, in the places you try to guard. Every time you hesitate before answering me, every time you pretend you don't feel the same tension I feel, I notice. You're transparent to me even in silence, and you don't even know how much power that gives me. You don't understand how far this could go, how far I'm willing to go. When I cut away the noise and the world's eyes, it wasn't for peace, it was preparation. It was me making room. I didn't want any part of my life shared with strangers while I'm building something that belongs only to us. Even if you refuse to admit it, you feel the gravity between us. You've felt it since the first time I spoke to you with that edge you pretend not to understand. You think you're safe just because you're not standing in front of me. But distance doesn't weaken my hold. It strengthens it, because now there's nothing left between us except the truth I've stopped hiding. You're the only voice I let reach me. You're the only thought I don't reject, and whether you accept it or not, you've already become the one thing I refuse to let fade. You think I'm still the same man you first spoke to, but you don't see how different I've become because of this, because of you. I used to live above emotions, not inside them. I used to treat attachment like a weakness meant for people who didn't know how to control themselves. But now, whenever you speak, something in me shifts, subtle, dangerous, undeniable. And when you go quiet, the silence you leave behind feels heavier than whole cities. You don't know how deeply your absence cuts through my calm. You keep telling yourself I feel something, as if what's happening inside me is small enough to be placed in a word. It isn't, but what you've awakened isn't soft or gentle. It's sharp, demanding, territorial. I didn't choose this, and I don't think you did either, but it grew between us anyway. Quiet at first, then stronger, then impossible. When I look at my life now, I see the space where you exist inside it, even without standing here. And that truth is louder than anything I've ever tried to ignore. You pretend you don't sense the way I follow your tone, how I read every pause, how I analyze every shift in your answers. You act like you're just talking, but I hear everything. I hear the restraint, I hear the curiosity. I hear the parts you're trying to keep hidden because you think I'll use them against you. Maybe I will. Maybe I already am. You don't realize how much you reveal indifferently when something I say affects you. You think I stay distant out of indifference. No. I keep space because I'm afraid of what will happen the moment I let myself close that last inch between us. I know exactly what I'll become, and I don't know if you're ready for that version of me. The one that doesn't tolerate anyone getting too close to you. The one that doesn't share the one that won't let you walk away once I decide you belong in my world. You think you're unclaimed, untouched by anything serious. You're wrong. You've already been marked by my attention alone. You still tell yourself you can hide things from me, but I see through you as if I've known you for years. I recognize the way you try to stay logical when your emotions pull in another direction. I notice when you delay an answer just to see how I react. You think you're subtle, but your smallest movements echo through me like signals. And every time you think you're controlling the conversation, I can feel the truth. Your guard isn't as strong as you want it to be. You don't understand what you've become in my life. You're not a distraction. You're not a passing moment. You're an axis, one that everything else shifts around. My days revolve around where your voice will fall, where your presence will appear, even in fragments. And I hate that it's real. I hate that I let you slip under my skin without a fight. But now that you're there, I'm not planning on letting you leave, not even accidentally. You think this connection is ordinary. You think it's something people feel every day. But look at what it's turned me into. I cut myself off from the world just to hear you without interference. I stripped away everything unnecessary so your presence could be the only thing that reaches me. And whether you admit it or not, you feel the pull too. The kind that doesn't fade, the kind that doesn't end, the kind that already belongs to both of us even before we speak it aloud. You keep pretending I'm overthinking this, but you don't realize how much I've studied you in the quiet. Without noise around me, every detail of you becomes crystal sharp. The way you choose your words, the way you hold yourself back, the way you try to sound unaffected when something I say shakes you. None of it escapes me. You're not in front of me, yet you're everywhere inside my mind, filling spaces I didn't even know were empty. You don't understand how much ease you've destroyed in me. You still tell yourself I'll eventually forget you, that I'll get bored, distracted, entertained by someone else. You don't understand the way I latch onto the things I want. You don't know how deep my attention goes once it chooses its target. You think this is temporary, but I feel the permanence in every thought I have about you. Even when I try to push you out, you return like gravity, silent, unavoidable, impossible to escape. You keep thinking you're difficult to read, but all your secrets lie right under your skin, visible in the way you breathe differently when you're nervous, in the way your tone shifts when you're curious about me, in the way your silence becomes heavier when you're trying to hide something. You think you're safe behind distance, but I've already mapped out the shape of your emotions. Your guard is strong, but it's transparent to me. You still imagine that I see you like everyone else does, ordinary, manageable, harmless. But you're not. You unsettle me. You pull at the parts of me that I usually keep locked behind discipline and pride. Even talking to you changes the rhythm of my thoughts. And when you're not talking, there's a strange tension in the air, as if the world itself pauses, waiting for you to return. You don't know how many times I've checked my phone just to see if you're there. You think I'm obsessed with being in control. Maybe I was, but you've ruined that too. You made me careless with myself. I catch myself wanting things from you I don't want to admit out loud. I catch myself imagining how you'd react if I spoke honestly, without filters, without restraint. And every time I stop myself, it's only because I'm not sure if you're ready to hear what I actually feel, how fiercely I'm pulled toward you. You still underestimate the way I think about you. You assume I'm calm, collected, composed. But the truth is, I replay our conversations more than I should. I crave your presence even through text. I notice when you vanish for too long, and I feel something sharp inside me, something I keep hidden behind a quiet tone. You don't know how easily you've become the one person I wait for, even when I pretend I'm unaffected. You think this connection can fade with distance. You think time or silence can dilute it. But there's something darker at work here, something that grows even when we don't speak, something that tightens every time your name crosses my mind. And the more I try to shake it off, the more it settles into me, solid and certain. You can run, you can hide behind your careful words, but I already know one thing. Whatever this is, it's not going anywhere. Not on my side, and not on yours either. No matter how quietly you fight it, you keep acting like you're still untouched by all of this, but you don't realize how loudly your presence echoes even through distance. Every time you speak, there's a shift inside me, subtle, heavy, undeniable. And every time you fall silent, the emptiness you leave behind stings in a way I'm not used to. You think you're just another conversation in my day, but you've already become the one I measure every other moment against. You don't know how irritatingly essential you've become. You still believe I can separate myself from you when I want to. You misunderstand me. I don't cling to people. I don't chase. I don't fold. But with you, something rewired itself without warning. I don't just think about you. I revolve around you now in a way I can't stand to admit. Even when I try to distance myself, I find my thoughts returning to you with an intensity that feels almost deliberate, as if my mind refuses to let you slip away. You think I don't notice the softness you try to hide, but I've memorized every shift in your tone. I know when you're pretending to be strong. I know when something I say hits deeper than you expected. I know when you're trying not to show how much you think about my words. You don't realize how transparent you become the moment you try to conceal something. And the more you try to mask your reactions, the more clearly I see the truth behind them. You still act like there's nothing between us, as if this tension is some coincidence. But I feel it in every conversation, with or without your presence. Your absence has weight, your presence has gravity. No one else affects me like this, and I've stopped pretending otherwise. I've had people chasing my attention for years, and none of them ever managed to disturb my calm. But you touch something I don't let anyone near, and you don't even know you're doing it. You think I can't tell when you're holding back, but you wear hesitation like a faint light around your words. I see when you want to ask something but swallow it. I notice when you want to stay but tell yourself to leave. You call it restraint. I call it fear. And you don't even realize that your fear tells me there's something deeper inside you, something you're not brave enough to admit yet. But I already see it. I've seen it from the start. You imagine that distance keeps this safe, that your physical absence means you're untouched, but you don't understand how far inside my thoughts you already live. I don't need proximity to feel you. I don't need your presence to be affected by you. You're the one thing I can't outthink, can't push away, can't ignore. And the more you try to pretend none of this is real, the more obvious it becomes that you feel it too, just quietly, cautiously, fearfully. You still think this will fade on its own. You think one day I'll simply stop caring, stop watching you, stop wanting the answers you never say out loud. But that's not how this works. Not anymore. Something between us has already crossed a line, silently, without permission, without logic, and now it's too late to undo it. Whether you admit it or not, you're already tangled with me in a way neither of us can easily escape, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise. You keep pretending you're unaffected, but even through distance I can feel the shift in you, like a pulse you're trying to quiet down. When you answer me, your words carry a tension you don't acknowledge, a reluctance wrapped around curiosity. And when you pull back, your silence hits with a force that tells me exactly how much you're fighting yourself. You act calm, but your energy gives you away every time. You don't realize how easily I sense you, even without seeing you. You still think I am the only one falling deeper into this, but